Hey, what is up, you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we will be reviewing the 1999 film Fight Club. Look at that poster! I had so much fun watching this movie. It was my first time and I can't wait to jump into the review. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Maddie Davis and every Friday I post a #FilmBuffFriday review of a classic and or iconic movie that I have never seen before. Also, if you stick around to the end of this video, I have a super lovely slideshow of all the people who promoted my channel this last week. Thank you guys so much. It means the world and I hope to promote y'all through this video as well. So stick around, and for now, let's jump into the video. The movie Fight Club is another David Fincher masterpiece. David Fincher has also directed iconic films such as Seven, The Social Network, Gone Girl, and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, all of which I have seen and love. The story is based on the award-winning novel by Chuck Palahniuk. How do you say his name? Chuck Palahniuk. And adapted for the screen by Jim Yules. To sum it up, this movie has some geniuses behind the camera, some experts in front of it, and some really, really resonant, relevant thematic messages that I will also be talking about. I have to give an extra shout out to the editor of this movie. The editor attached to this film is James Haygood, and wow, do I have to say, he knows what he's doing. Oh my gosh, there were some perfectly strung together sequences that created so much anxiety, that created such the world that our main character is living in. And I also think it's really funny because it was very cinematic in style, very similar to that of music videos. This guy has also edited the music videos of Paula Abdul's Straight Up, as well as Madonna's Vogue and Oh Father. These montages were just timed so perfectly with the music, with the colors, the flashes. It was so cinematic and so active in creating anxiety in us, tension, and building the world overall. There's also a lot of Easter eggs thrown into this film that I think everyone had fun putting together. Apparently there's a Starbucks cup in every single scene of this movie. I didn't see one. Oops. There are also 4 to 5 quick flashes of the Brad Pitt character Tyler Durden before he's even introduced into the film. I caught those. And then lastly, in the last scene of the entire movie is a flash of some male genitalia. I didn't see that either. There are a lot of other Easter eggs in this movie, so I definitely say, if you're interested, look it up yourselves. Now let's talk about the actors of this film. Starring, we have Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, and Helena Bonham Carter. All 3 of them bring to the screen some fully realized and physicalized characters that I think deserve A+. Edward Norton's no-name, everyman protagonist just has the most fascinating arc through the duration of the film that is mastered and executed flawlessly. Then we have Brad Pitt, who is just so real and so commanding as the charismatic antagonist. He gains the respect from the Fight Club members with such ease, and the audience just jumps right on board. That speech/monologue he gives in like the Fight Club circle about like society and the purpose is just like. And Helena Bonham Carter, wow, she just brings this strong-willed, layered character to screen in this film. I think she's incredible, whether she's playing Ophelia, Mrs. Lovett, Bellatrix. She just surfaces so many layers to her characters and belies her beauty with a grittiness and a rawness. I'm also surprised that she has no formal training, because wow. But it goes to show that she is a real and raw talent. I also think it is really interesting and important for actors and movie lovers to see that the different avenues that casting could have gone in terms of the actors in the movie. Because at a certain point, the talent is all very talented, and the decisions of who gets the part really just comes down to an artistic choice, a gut decision from the creative team, or just random, like, I like that person with that person. For Edward Norton's protagonist character, other actors considered were Sean Penn and Matt Damon. For Marla Singer, portrayed by Helena Bonham Carter, we had Courtney Love, who Edward Norton heavily advocated for because he was her boyfriend. Then we also had Winona Ryder, I can see that, and Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon was actually offered the part and turned it down. The studio later reflected that they thought she was too young for the role. In all. And then for the part of Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt, we had Russell Brand being considered for this part. Just kidding, Russell Crowe. I thought that was funny. But in going down that wormhole of alternative casting, I wanted to encourage my actors that we're gonna get a lot of no's, and let's just stick to who we are as we go through this process of rejection, repetitive rejection. That is the most important, staying true to ourselves. So here is to being ourselves through all the rejection. Grind on. Speaking about the grind, success, careers, and the powers that be not in our control, I also wanted to do a deep dive into the thematic messages this film explores. Even though I think our main character deals with a much more severe mental illness than most Americans, most of us deal with in having a split personality, I think this film goes further in bringing to light what plagues most Americans, which is chronic stress and diseases of despair. An increasing amount of Americans deal with depression, anxiety, addiction, and unhealthy coping mechanisms. There's a reason why America has the leading numbers in deaths of despair. These deaths of despair include suicide, overdose, and health problems related to chronic stress. I think this movie responds to that chronic stress in terms of anarchy and violence. Anarchy and violence in response to a system that has betrayed us, that isn't returning the promises it's made. After watching this movie, I was really inspired to comprehend further what this movie is talking about, and I watched the documentary on HBO called One Nation Under Stress. I definitely recommend it. There are a lot of experts and doctors and scientists, psychologists talking about and being interviewed about what really is going on in our country. There's this one expert interviewed who's a biologist, I believe, whose book is called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. He talks about when a zebra's in the wild and a lion starts chasing it, it has adrenaline pump into its body, into its thighs, so that it can run faster, so that it can escape. These stress hormones or whatever work for it. And then when it escapes from the lion, it goes back to normal. The problem is, most of us, with these stressors in our everyday life, we don't get to go back to normal. Most of us are living in a state of chronic stress. I think this movie really drives home the point that this chronic stress and this way of life we're all living is not sustainable. What is to come is either a breaking point or anarchy. Anarchy not being necessarily violence and complete destruction of the system of capitalism, but in dismantling what systems are in place, what belief systems we are buying into, what values we are placing on ourselves and in our children. Now, I know that there is a push for holistic health. There's a lot more normalizing of yoga and meditation, therapy, all that stuff that's very good, but it's not all accessible to everyone, to lower income families, lower income households. It is not normalized as something that everyone needs. And this movie kind of brings a humor to it, in that our main character and Marla Singer find comfort in pretending to be terminally ill with cancer. Help is not readily available to people unless they're dying, unless they're on their deathbed. And that's not okay. That is not okay. And I think the movie really, really bring that home. With all that said, this concludes our review and reaction to the movie Fight Club. Overall, I just really super enjoyed it. On a scale of 1 to yum, this movie is a definite yum. It is a masterful piece. Thank you guys so much for watching. As a new channel, your support means everything, and I am so excited to hit the ground running with these videos. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a cute little slideshow prepared for you that includes all the people who promoted my channel in this last week. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I will catch you next week on our next week's Film Buff Friday review on Film Buff Friday. Thank you guys. See you.